G'day and welcome to beautiful Sydney International Airport. Today I'm flying on Garuda Indonesia's A330-300 retrojet in business class all the way to Bali. Follow us as we explore the cabin.
Now, retro is a pretty good way to sum up this trip, and no, I'm not talking about the moustache I'm now sporting. With 75 years behind it, this is an airline with a colourful history, and I personally flew with the carrier back in 2016 when it first started flying from London. However, flying from Sydney to Bali, I was lucky enough to experience the carrier once again. It started in Sydney's Terminal 1, and check-in was in Zone J with a dedicated counter for business class and Skyteam Elite members. Within minutes, a friendly check-in agent gave us boarding tickets which allowed us through the fast-track immigration and security. It was a breeze getting to the lounge, one of Skyteam's few dedicated lounges across its network. The lounge itself is situated below the departure concourse and features a modern, very blue interior. There were plenty of seating options as well as a tended bar, featuring craft beers, a wide selection of spirits and wines, and a fridge filled to the brim with sparkling wine. There's also a range of traditional food options, from hot dishes to breads and even a pancake machine, but the live cooking station was calling my attention, so I opted for a glorious noodle soup accompanied by lots of garnishes, all washed down with a glass of bubbles, giving me just enough time to soak in the view of the apron with these two huge A380s gracing our presence. With no time to spare, we headed to the gate for boarding, where we were greeted by this amazing retrojet. Boarding was on time, efficient and friendly, and within minutes of arriving at the gate, we headed on board and greeted by a fantastic crew. Garuda offers a range of business class seats on their aircraft, but this reverse herringbone layout is one of their best. The seats are spacious and arranged in a 1x2x1 configuration, allowing all aisle access, plenty of space and storage. It's good to point out that this is one of the only flatbed options too, direct from Sydney to Bali, with Qantas offering the only other widebody on this popular route. So to my seat, 11K, a window seat at the back of the cabin. There's nothing super special about Garuda's offering here. It's a standard incarnation of the Collins Super Diamond product. Waiting for me by the seat was an amenity kit, slippers, menus, and magazines, along with two uninterrupted windows for watching the world go by. The seat offers a video screen hand controller and a small side storage unit, deep enough for glasses and phone, as well as two USB chargers and an M-Power socket. These aren't as big as the ones that you'll find on the 777, but the A330 is a little narrower, so space is at a premium here. There are touchscreen seat controls, a sliding bifold table, reading light, and an armrest that can be raised, opened, and act as storage, and the headphones for the IFE were already in there, stored ready for use. Talking of IFE, the IFE is a little dated, and the interface is tired and clunky. I wish there were a few more options of movies and TV shows, but while the IFE is a little dull, Garuda's secret weapon is its service, which positively shone. As we sat down, we were all greeted by name, without any written prompt, and offered a drink. What I found really quirky and a nice touch was the addition of a walk-up bar at the back of the cabin. While it was a little retro in look, it was set up mid-flight for passengers to use as a mini social space. And I actually wish more airlines did this, as it gives passengers a place to stretch their legs without getting in the crew's way inside the galley. So as we finished boarding, I took a look at the blanket, which was pretty basic, and this Porsche design amenity kit, which was quite frankly a pleasant surprise, as it was stocked with quite a few amenities for just a day flight, including skincare brand Peo. Now it's time to take a look at the menu for this 6-hour flight. Before long, it was time to push back, spool up the engines and take off from 34 left, which gave the most impressive views across Sydney as we headed on our trek off to Indonesia. As we continued to climb, the crew came back into action, preparing an after-takeoff drink with assorted nuts and crackers. It's a nice touch for it to be poured at the seat. Then, before we even had our meal order taken, we were offered even more snacks before the crew came and explored the meal options. I opted for the starter of seared tuna, which was chilled and fresh, along with some bread options. This was followed by the Indonesian chicken curry, which was fragrant, full of lemongrass and coriander, and perfectly cooked. I have to admit, I do love the Chinaware that Garuda use. It's actually one of my lasting memories from the last flight I took almost a decade ago. I then had dessert, which was followed by after-dinner chocolates handed out by the purser. Right, time to check out the toilet. It was basically stocked, clean and, well, pretty standard, but noticeably remained immaculate throughout the flight. Heading back past the bar, I went back to my seat as the rest of the cabin settled in for the long day flight across to Bali. So it was time to recline my seat into a bed and watch a movie or two, settling in for the next few hours. I have to admit, the seat does look like it's had better days. There were large gaps between the pads and the seat fabric looked a little tired, but it was still a comfortable seat and it was certainly pretty clean. Throughout the flight, the crew kept attending to passengers, offering more snacks and drinks so no one went hungry or thirsty. Time flew by, and before I knew it, a second service had started, this time offering a couple of light options before we came into land. I opted for a rosé wine, followed by a pie and nachos. It's an interesting choice, but it was tasty. This was all finished off with a hot towel before landing. "6 hours, it's remarkable it passed so quickly, but it was a great chance to see Garuda in today's crowded aviation market. Slightly tired cabins and lackluster IFE aside, I had a great flight, simply because of an amazing, engaged crew and a large, comfortable space to relax in. Does Garuda need to invest in new cabins? Well, yes, of course. But first it had to get itself back on track, which started with the completion of the restructure at the start of 2023. As cabin interiors projects can take years, I'm sure we'll be seeing new cabins and upgrades to the interiors in the not too distant future. I'll happily fly Garuda again, and I should point out I just used 40,000 miles from Virgin Atlantic to book this flight, which I did through the Virgin Atlantic website, and for me it was well worth the purchase. Have you flown Garuda Indonesia? And if so, what was it that would make you fly them again? Please comment, like, subscribe, and do, as always, spread the word. Until next time, safe flying.